you start talking about people taking flight using lighter-than-air craft, and we end up with Lawn Chair Larry, who was the guy back in 82 who...
1982. Worth noting.
Okay.
We have covered a breadth of time.
Where plastic furniture wasn't just the domain of the super wealthy. And he ties, I forget, it was like 40-something weather balloons to a lawn chair with the intention of, he's got his little pellet gun, and he's going to fly up into the air and float around, have a good time, shoot the balloons with his pellet gun, and drift softly to the ground. Now, he cuts his mooring line, and his...
It takes a lot of kahunas.
He has vastly underestimated the force being applied by the balloons, and he shoots up into the air like a rocket. He panics immediately. He wastes no time in panicking and starts shooting balloons with his pellet gun, trying to stop this mad dash into the atmosphere. Shoots too many balloons and starts crashing down. Throws out all his ballast. He had like some gallons of water or whatever. He throws off his ballast. Also loses his gun.
Oh, no.
Throws off too much ballast, and now he's heading up again. I don't think planning was this guy's forte. Though I do love...
Those weather balloons will take you way up.
Oh, yeah. Luckily, he managed to... They had to kind of get this whole air traffic control thing. He ultimately drifted into power lines and managed to ride on. And he... I love his quote at the end. The guy was a truck driver and obviously just a little bit insane. But I have to love him for his quote at the end. Right? Because he flies up, creates this whole incident, just hanging on for his life in this lawn chair in the sky. And later, as he actually survives the experience, he comes down and they ask him, "Why'd you do it?" And he said, "Well, you can't just sit around."
He did.
So I kind of have to love Lawn Chair Larry for that. And so there's one lightning round story. I've got one more, and then I'll pass it over to you two, whatever you want to do. Turns out, it is believed that he had an inspiration in Al Mingoloni. Let me just check. Al Mingoloni. This was way back closer to the time of the Hindenburg. And you had this photographer for Paramount who wanted to do this shot where he would have his camera, he had a harness, and was hooking himself up to weather balloons, and they were tied off to the bumper of a car. And they were just going to raise him into the ground, and he was going to take a picture from above, and maybe do like some little jumping, right? But they can't quite get it right, and they're only getting up a little ways, and he says, "Guys, I'm starting to chafe here. It's getting late. Just put on like 5 more balloons." They do so. He takes off, hits the end of the mooring line. The mooring line snaps.
Oh.
And Al is floating away. A bystander Catholic priest, Father Mullen, picks up a .22 rifle that was nearby, hops in with the 2 other cameramen guys, and they take off, following him in the car as he continues to float higher. He tries to climb up to the balloons to do something, I don't know, untie them or something. Cramps, loses his balance, or actually cramps, loses grips. He falls to the end of his harness, loses the camera, a.k.a. ballast.
Sorry, guys, what's going on?
Ends up flying even higher. He flies up there for like an hour or 2 while they're chasing, and he says he suddenly hears this ping, ping. Here's two little pings, and all of a sudden he starts descending. Yeah, after a couple hours, which he had disappeared behind cloud banks, these guys in the car are still hunting for him. They finally get him. He's about 700 feet in the air, and this Catholic priest shoots two of the balloons, allowing him.
Shot.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Bold to take the shot
with a guy dangling nearby.
I know. It was an amazing story, and yeah, he actually survives. They actually recover his camera. It is uninjured. Right? These are back in the days where cameras were big, heavy, industrial type things, and yeah, he actually is saved. Al Mingoloni is saved by a random bystander priest shooting his balloons with a confiscated .22 rifle.